All right, everybody, welcome back to J-Face Games. What I want to talk about now is a couple board games that I'm interested in terms of how you can take those board games and change them into mechanics for your RPG system, whatever your RPG system is. And the one I wanted to talk about currently is Fog of Love, okay? And I want to talk about this in the context of social micro interactions, which is one of the mechanics we're thinking about for the 5 mechanic system. But on top of that, I could see, instead of using this for the social micro actions mechanically, I could see using it for someone who has a thematic combat game. And I'll talk about that in just a second. So for those that don't know what Fog of Love is, it's a 2-player board game that is fascinating. Because ideally, here's Fog of Love, the theme of the game is you are a couple, and it's in essence supposed to be enacting a rom-com or dramedy or whatever the case might be. And so you have these different beats, the cute beat or the beginning, getting to know someone, the struggles through the middle, and then some sort of finale. Either you come together, you fade apart, whatever the case might be. The core mechanics, though, of the game, I'll paraphrase this, but if you look here, in essence, let me see if I can get a good big picture here of what this looks like. So if you're looking here, the game has, if I'm on this side and they're on this side, you have these attributes, right? And these attributes are linked to different of these sort of like continuums or bars here, right? And then on top of that, you have these goals in life, your life goals, right? Anyways, these attributes mean that you have a certain outcome or desire that you lean towards, and these goals are what you're wanting these sort of things to be in the future. And the way this game works is some of these are like your emotional relationship, or your profession, or your social life, or all kinds of things. I don't have, we could probably look up a picture here for those that really want to know about that stuff. But they're really interesting, right? And you can see here's an idea of like, by the end of the game, I want this to be, 5 up, 5 down, whatever. Anyways, the way the game works is that any given turn, you're going to play some sort of encounter, you and your partner, and you're going to put down something, and that encounter is like a thematic scenario. And then you and your partner blindly choose which outcome you want to occur, A, B, C, or D, right? From this list. And depending on if you both choose the same thing, or if you both choose different things, there's a different result that occurs, right? So, how does this work in a potential RPG? Well, I could see this in 2 different things. I mean, I think most of you probably already see this, that in essence, encounter design or game design is there are varied outcomes, and there are quick decision, whatever the case might be, outcomes where you have, this is the scenario, and the players are blindly choosing based on their own characters answer, we'll just say A, B, C, and depending on how many A's, how many B's, how many C's you get, there's a different sort of outcome. And I think that would be really interesting, because it's not all outcomes are bad. It's not that if, for instance, in this game, it's not that if both people choose A, that's a success, right? It's if one person chooses A versus one person chooses B, different of these dials here go one way or the other, right? And it makes it very interesting towards your long-term goals. And in this scenario, maybe the long-term goals are, maybe you're creating quest goals that are different per player. We all have our own individual story goals, and then we all have a joint story goal. But I could see this being very interesting in terms of a RPG system. And then if you think about it from a combat system, you could have, it's not that you're dealing with individual attacks, but the cards themselves are more acts within a fight, like acts within an encounter. So if you think of an encounter as going to be 4 cards, and there's each act is sort of a different aspect of that encounter. First, we're fighting down here. What are we doing? All right, the fight has moved up to this cliff. Now, what are you trying to do in that scenario? Now it's moving down here. And I thought it would be very interesting to think in terms of those as mechanics. So I'd be curious what you guys think. I gave a very broad overview, but in essence, it's sort of a joint choose-your-own-adventure game where, depending on if we both choose the same thing or different things, there are different results on these sort of like 6 continuum. And it would be very interesting to think about an RPG in that way. All right, guys, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Please leave some comments and check out Fog of Love. It's a really interesting game. Shut Up and Sit Down did a review of Fog of Love that is primo. They loved it.